What's up? Sorry, I'm still getting the actual stream set up. Wait for a second to let everybody get in here. Sip on this coffee for a second. What are indices? Are they still falling? Yeah. Did I delete them? I meant to delete. Okay, I didn't. I was going to say. Wow, that was fast. I literally hopped off the screens for a second, and I was looking at this daily imbalance, and I already came to it. I did not think it was going to be that fast, though. So I think that's definitely what S&P was pulling towards. Got a similar one here on US 30. US 30, I play more supply and demand. That's still market though. What's up, Carl? Good morning, Big Hunter. Good morning, Xavier. And also, I hope you guys all had a good weekend. I actually took a little loss this morning on NAS. We're gonna go over that, and I'll go over a little gold scalp that I hit as well. Looks like NAS is coming down for this low. So overall, when I came into the market this morning, I looked at everything last night, and the candle's a little bit farther down, but we were in this daily demand candle. I really wouldn't look at it like a demand candle. I mean, it is by definition, but more so what I was looking at is we came down into this little imbalance right here, and I came on the 15-minute this morning, and I saw these equal highs form, and then we pushed down below them with displacement, and I had deemed this shift in market structure with a fair value gap. But as you can see, it pushed right through it, stopped us out. No big deal. I mean, it's never fun to take a loss, but it happens. You just got to execute, and you know, any strategy, you're going to have losses. So um, when you take them, it just the way we went over this in the private class on Saturday, but a big part of you know managing your risk properly allows you to take a L, because every strategy is going to have losses. So that was the bias. It gave the setup that we took the same setup last week on SPY, um, and hit. It's the same exact thing. So this is a great example of um, you just got to execute, because you never know which one's going to be on the favor of your edge. So if you look at this, pretty similar price actually came under a low, broke above a high right there, fair value gap entry. Now, if we look at Nasdaq this morning, it came under a low, broke above a high, fair value gap entry. It just didn't hit. So, not really much more to that one. Just take a loss. I did take a little gold scalp this morning. I have a feeling I'll end up regretting taking it all, but it's okay. What I was looking at, and this is one of the setups, I'll go ahead and start with gold, because this is a setup I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on coming into this week. Let me move my stuff to the side. So gold, we see that we came down, we took out this low, took out this imbalance, and came into this daily little order block down here. Now, you can also look at this as an order block, but because this didn't really grab any liquidity, more so this imbalance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all these, but just know that we removed liquidity. The cursor. We removed liquidity here, and we filled these gaps. So, I would be looking for longs at this point, and where to. It's kind of difficult, because when I look at this weekly candle, I think the weekly candle um, has also filled an imbalance, but I don't necessarily see enough to tell me that we want to have a close higher on the week. I think I need another day or so before I'm super confident on that. But I do look at the daily, from the perspective that we, we've removed all these imbalances, and we came under the low. So what I look for is somewhere at a premium on this daily impulse move. Now, I don't have to necessarily find it from this chart, but I will mark out a couple levels on the daily chart, which is going to be this imbalance. Now, it's not in a premium, but I'm still going to mark it because it's really the only clear imbalance. And we still haven't even confirmed it until this day closes. Because remember, a fair value gap or an imbalance is a three candle structure. So you need to be patient before um, we just call this fair value gap. But I'll mark it just so I have some on my screen, but I did want to be clear on that. So I'm looking at a 4-hour chart. It gets a little clearer here. You see that right there. We've got that imbalance, and then there's a lot of liquidity built up. Look at probably a little bit better in the 15-minute. A lot of liquidity built up over all these highs right here. So I like that zone. Um, as we see it, price rebalanced itself pretty efficiently throughout parts of this. It left this little imbalance, came up, took the liquidity above those highs and pushed down. So this is the kind of scenario we want to see play out on the 4-hour. We want to see price come up, take out those highs, and then push down. Um, well, I guess I shouldn't say that's what we want to see, but that's what I would anticipate. If I was in longs, I would be exiting them around there. So overall, I'd like to build long ideas around this narrative. I'm going to go ahead and delete the tool because I don't like having too much stuff in my chart. Um, and then the way I confirmed this morning's trade, and with gold, I don't really hold positions a super long time. I just kind of get in and out. But the way I look at it was, price came up, took this short-term high out, left an imbalance right there, and then I went in the 1 minute. And as soon as we got that displacement break of structure, I just took a long. The target, the reason I got out was these equal highs right here. So it definitely could go higher for sure, but um, what I want to see in order for that to be, maybe framing of the trade as more liquidity raids with imbalances left above or after the break of structure that we make to confirm that smart money is buying that dip and just kind of trade off of that. 5 minute doesn't look bad here. It looks like pretty clear, just normal bullish structure. We got a break, we have a break of the high, then we have this imbalance right here. So you look to see this pattern form until it doesn't anymore. Ideally, what I would like is what I'm going to set an alert for is this low to get taken. See, gold. One thing I will say about gold is it's just max manipulation. It'll ping pong around, and then you never know when it's going to make its super crazy move. Also, I see everybody blowing up the comments. I appreciate you guys. So I said took 3 shorts last night on Forex Open and Asia range, printed in Alenda Open. Fuck yeah, there you go. Greetings from El Salvador. Greetings. How you got? What part of El Salvador are you from? Just drop it, and I'll. Hold on. I had a buddy who was gonna move down there for like the tax benefits on crypto. He was like really going to. Thanks, Joel. I appreciate you, bro. Um, long on USD JPY. I think I want to go over that. I'll go over that one as well. And morning AOTR, morning vibing. So what I'm going to do here for this is I'm just going to set an alert under this low because the reason I like it is we have this demand candle right here. I'm going to draw it to the to the other wick. But I like that candle and it didn't get touched. Gold oftentimes will come down and fill those little gaps as well. Um, so I'll watch that. Really, I like trading gold during New York. Um, this morning it was pretty clean. It came down into that daily imbalance, 15-minute break of structure with displacement, fair value gap entry. You could take it higher, but I'm with gold. I go in and out. I don't like to hold. It's a cruel pair. So if I can get my 2R, I get in and I get out. So overall, just to recap, uh, we want to see a push, at least maybe retrace this impulsive move on the daily chart. We found our price delivery array at equilibrium, and we also have one we've marked out that is still forming. Depends on this daily close. As long as we don't, come up all the way to 1755 today, that will be there. Um, Somebody said, if we see the exact setup as described in your AM setup, liquidity rate and fair value gap directly above, but in London session instead of NY kill zone, is it not valid? I wouldn't personally. I haven't traded it with indices, so I can't really say yes or no on that. I don't trade indices during anything except New York Equity Open, but the setup itself, it works on about anything. So I always say if you're trading during whenever you usually trade and you see what you need, just execute. That's the way I like to put that. But like for instance, if you saw that same kind of setup on Euro Dollar during the London session or London kill zone, then yeah, I mean it's gonna be a fire trade. But for indices, I'm not gonna say I can't say yes or no because I just haven't traded them. I don't trade indices out of session, out of New York session. Yeah, overall bias on gold could build intraday longs up to this area right here. Or actually, let's do Bitcoin. I know everybody probably wants Bitcoin. So here, I'll just delete this. So do it again with you guys. So I said NOS M1. Is this low? 945.6, 941. So it took that. Yeah, it's giving it. After I took this, for me, where we're at, we've rated the liquidity in the morning for sure. I do like that we took this low. I will say that. Not really usually it's still within the window that I would trade NOS, but doesn't look bad. We probably even got none on a 5-minute. So actually, let me see. I'm gonna look at SPY as well and see because SPY might be giving a similar setup. And I like SPY's impulsive move range a little bit better. No, I'll give it to you. It doesn't look bad here. Let me just see what the risk to reward would be on this. Just the risk to reward is not really the greatest. I'm probably just I'll forward test. I like the setup, but for me, if I'm gonna play the morning impulse move when it's this late in the morning, and a 1-to-1 isn't, it's just not there for me. And it could go all the way to the equal highs, but I just can't target them. It doesn't go with my strategy. So I'll watch it. It looks okay here. I mean, we took out that 4-hour low, also the daily low. You got a 1-minute break of structure to the upside. So if we would have had maybe like a 15-minute or a 5-minute, I would target higher. But usually when I watch the 1 minute, if I'm playing these liquidity rates, I'll just target um, uh, liquidity in a premium of the recent impulse move, because I look at it like, if the 5-minute hasn't really broken up yet, or the 15-minute, or the institutional structure is still imbalances to the downside, or not imbalance, displacement of the downside, right? And then we come under the low, and yes, we have displacement on that lower time frame, but for me to want to take it higher, I need more structure than just the 1 minute, if that makes sense. Now, if what was I gonna say? Oh, if we would have broke down from here and then got maybe a 5-minute break of structure to the upside, that would give me a little bit more reason to target higher. But it looks good. I could see this making a little run up to these highs. Everything's coming down to these daily levels too, because there's so many levels on fucking SPY, man, or at ES for those of you trading futures. But we are at this daily imbalance on SPY, and it's also this flip zone that came out and helped us take out this high right here, because we reacted to all this supply, kind of saw that problem, and then pushed up. I think that was FOMC. No, it was the 10th. FOMC was like the 27th right here. Was that PMI, or not PMI, but a CPI? I think it might have been. What I'll watch for here, though, if the 15-minute, if everything starts to shift bullish, then I'll start to look to build more longs. And this will kind of go into the bias for S&P. Sorry, I forget to take off the comments on the screen. So, overall bias on corn, the good old Bitcoin. Um, Again, we saw our 3 drive play out last week. We've been talking about this for I don't know how long. It's definitely in play. We came down, removed a lot of liquidity. I don't think we quite tapped under that. So we came back down into this demand candle right there. Really, the fair value gap is what I was more interested in. So if we go down to a 4-hour, I guess I already had it drawn. I talked about liking this POI over here on Friday. Now, the reason I like this POI is because it did what? Took liquidity. Right, price came down into an old POI, dumb money entered, got stopped out. So we know that there was institutional sponsorship and involvement in this candle, because we took liquidity and then expanded. So once price returns to this area, we can anticipate that there are still orders here that need to be mitigated. So on the 4-hour, we came down into it. We go scan to the 15-minute. Now, price, did get that displacement break of structure. But if we notice, came down, and anybody who's trading here, like if you were just a 15-minute trader, you got stopped out. And this is why it's good to use confirmation through multiple time frames. There are benefits to just trading the 15-minute, and that's as low as you go, but there are also downfalls like this right here where you get stop hunted and then price moves without you. So the way I look at it is this looks like a pretty clear liquidity raid. If I go to a 1-hour, I don't see any displacement really. Not any fair value gaps to enter off of, nothing major. And price just comes up above these highs and then it's shot down pretty rough. So I don't necessarily see super clear signs for me personally to enter. You may have other side. I see a lot of trades that could have been maybe taken over the weekend. But as far as like trying to swing something up into these, and up into this imbalance, I just don't see it yet. But I do see it developing. So overall daily bias for Bitcoin is we are sitting at the fill of a daily imbalance. right? If we look at the weekly chart, I'm almost going to tell you right now that I think this weekly candle is probably going to close down. But if the weekly candle is to close down, we're going to get a wick. So whenever you're looking at candle structure and asking yourself, okay, well, what all happened through this candle? You may see an up close candle on a lot of these, but this candle doesn't have a wick. But almost all these candles have a wick. So if our weekly bias is to go lower on the week, we still can have, especially early in the week, a daily bias to go up, because that's how we come up. We remove a lot of that buy side liquidity, induce buying, and then sell off. So whenever I'm looking at possibilities of where to, we obviously have this daily imbalance right there. I'm gonna do the same thing we did on gold. I want to draw a premium, I'm sorry, find areas of liquidity and a premium of the impulse range. So that imbalance is right there. This one's a little cleaner. So if we are going to look for longs, we're going to probably be looking to scale out of them around 23K, 23,100. So we're on the 4 hour. We're in that 4 hour demand. We've established that. The 15-minute, we came up, and the problem here is that I don't have a clear area of displacement. When we see where we're reacting to, me, I mean, I don't see exactly, maybe it's 5 minute fair value gap or something. I mean, I guess that is what it reacted off of right off the end, the fill of it. What I'm gonna do is, when we're in ranges like this, I just map out areas of potential liquidity. I'm gonna delete all this because I know we're in demand candle. I just wanted to show you guys that. But I still look at this as an area of liquidity. Just, I know it's been ran once, but this is where our major area of sell stops are in this low time frame range. Um, Not saying that I will require that low to be rated, but it would be ideal if we saw that rated. So what's going to take for me to want to get involved is more liquidity rates to the downside with displacement breaks of structure. That's the only reason I'm really not interested in this, is I just don't see any super undeniable entries from institutions except manipulation. So what I do see is a potential creek forming, right? If we come kind of down and push down and break under this low, and then get that displacement break of structure, that would be like the trade we took last week. Last week we took it. I think we're somewhere right around here right now, in this little probably going to end up as a redistribution pattern. But for now, we're looking at it as orders might be accumulating in order for smart money to push price back up. But that's where I think we're at. I think we're still developing that creek. We're coming down. Not in, it's not so fast that it's necessarily scaring retail out of their positions yet. But any stop losses that are down here, I would look for them to get taken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert down there. And once we get some kind of clear, again, just displacement break of structure, I'll look to get long. I don't think that it's super, super smart to be just shorting right here. I think that's kind of FOMO. Who knows? It might work out, but that's the way I look at it now. So overall, just to recap, we have filled the imbalance. The weekly bias is bearish. I think this candle will close more bearish than the previous, but the daily candle, I'm looking for consolidation here. But overall, I want to see us move up into this imbalance. Other potential targets, if I draw this on a 4 hour, we go to a 1 hour, maybe see if I can get something clearer. I like this level. I'm not even going to label it. I'm just going to leave it. I like that high. If you go to a 1 hour, there's a high there. It's what the beginning of that fair value gap. I like that level, right? Not trying to take this all the way up here, but I like this level, that daily imbalance, and then this whole range, this little buy to sell range could hold some orders. So overall, That's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. Don't see enough for me to want to get involved yet. I know we have some volatile news tomorrow as well. I think what is it? Is it PMI? My brain's not working right now. Tomorrow. Yeah, it's just but for Europe. PMI for bunch of GBP and Euro news tomorrow, and the United States as well. So tons of volatile news tomorrow. That's going to cause volatility all the way from London into the New York lunch. So again, don't think it's necessarily rush stuff. Let me peep NOS. I'm curious how it's doing. Let's see. Yeah, it's not really clear to me. That's why I didn't want to take that. It looked good, but it's like you're already at like whenever you see something like this, you have that impulse move. It's like, yes, this looks good, but then it's like, where's it going? We're looking to take it into a premium. You see what I mean? And then we come back down, we get a displacement break of structure before you even get to your stop loss. And now it's like, you could look at this as a short entry almost. Not where we're at, but up in this area. So that's why it's important sometimes to execute whenever, like for instance, over here, I executed, I like this with the equal highs, didn't work out, that's okay. I'd take a loss there, happily move on. But taking a loss on something like this, I would go back and be like, okay, you shouldn't have done that. Still has time to reverse though, to be fair, it does. So again, overall bias on Bitcoin, I want to see it move up into this imbalance. I don't see enough for me to get involved with that move yet, and I will post if I do. So that covers Bitcoin and gold. Those are two setups I'm going to be watching this week. I'll do a really quick one. This, I think, Adeliki brought this one up. I still like CHC shorts. If we can get up to that supply candle, and I'll tell you why. Is it on the daily chart? We came up, we removed these highs. I think they're equal on a different time frame, and came into uh, this supply candle market. So I don't confuse anybody, but we cleared all these little highs right here, came up into the supply candle, and there's an imbalance right there. Massive reaction off. And we saw this distribution here on the lower time frames. It's going to look like some very clean distribution. We do have some highs kind of building up that buy side above it. That's what we're going to use confirmation in this zone. I like how we have this high front running our zone, but I really like this setup. And it's odd because I don't see setups like on these kind of shit coins that I like this often, but I really like this. So specifically what I'm looking for this week, if crypto does get that push up into our imbalance, that would probably bring this up. If I can get a 15-minute break uh, with displacement, I'll look to enter sells and I'll be swinging them um, into this, probably down into this imbalance, if not lower. So that's pretty quick on CHC. I got alert set for this zone. So indices. Now, this is the part where a lot of bulls are going to get fucking wrecked. And, well, they're probably already getting wrecked. And when I say bulls, I don't mean, somebody has a bullish daily bias. I mean just people that are just super bullish on everything in the stock market. And they see this pump as, stock market crashes over, we're going to the moon, yada, yada. I think regardless of the fact that we look pretty clear that we're going down, I don't know if it's going to be like this or not. We'll see, right? Because when you look back over here, you could have said, okay, well, daily bias, we're pushing down. You could come to this imbalance. You blast through that. Okay, we're going straight to the low. When we look over here, we've got a lot of levels, right? I've got some weekly and daily levels marked. As of right now, we're sitting at this imbalance fill, right? So yes, we filled the imbalance. We came really hard off these equal highs, really hard off that weekly fair value gap. That tells me that there were still a ton of orders there. Now, also, if we look at the monthly chart, what we went over in July, the beginning of July, when I told you guys that we are going to see this bull run, we called it literally on, I think it was July 4th or July 6th or something. We'll go back where we were at. It was right around here. And we said we were going to start to push the upside. So that worked out. And I'll show you the reason I thought that is we coming off this monthly order block. It's a little clear on ES. I'm not going to show its charts, but the ES order block's clearer than the SPX chart. But when we're looking at a monthly chart, it's much easier to identify institutional involvement. Now, um, you know, it can be harder to utilize this information sometimes because people want to directly apply it to an entry. But if you allow it to just complement your bias and give you insight, it can be very valuable. So we looked at it. We were talking about coming off this order block, and we marked. There's a video on this too. I posted this in case you guys think I'm bullshitting. It's I'll post it in a second. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and do it, or I'll forget. Can't even remember what it's called. Uploads. There's so many where we do these streams all the time. Will the market recover in 2022? This video right here. If you guys want to watch it, we talked about all of this literally and explained in depth how to use the bonds market and how to use a monthly chart on indices to tell this. But the reason I'm bringing that up is look how close we are to our opposite, right? So when we're down here in this monthly price delivery level right here, this order block or this down candle before an up move, it's not the greatest order block. Something like this would be better because it takes liquidity, right? That's down in COVID. But I don't, I think we're have a little ways before that if we even see that. But see how we came up. We didn't tap into it. We came up close to it. We came into other price delivery arrays near it. All these imbalances on a weekly, on a daily, above the equal highs on the daily. This was a pretty prime reversal zone. And if you didn't see that, for one, you probably haven't been coming through the streams because we've been talking about it forever, but you're just filtering things out because you wanted a bullish narrative. That was clear as day. So we're pushing really hard off that. That complements my perspective that there were orders there. So I see there was a lot of orders there. So institutions, we're seeing involvement whenever we see these big moves like this. Now we have PMI tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see how that data comes out. We could be just pushing down to liquidate longs in order for institutions to utilize that sell side liquidity, but it's I wouldn't bet the farm on that. I wouldn't bet it, just say this is just a flush. But we are in this daily imbalance. For me, the draw on liquidity was this imbalance after we started coming off this. So I want to see a reversal inside here. And if I don't, I'm looking for this area. Now, when I'm looking at the daily chart, I can say, okay, well, we're in this zone. When I look at the 15-minute, and this is what I was saying a second ago with NAS, why I don't want to trade it, is I'm not going to really confirm a reversal or um, confirm that price is drawing to something else off of a lower time frame like this. See, like the 1 minute already got stopped out, it looks like. I don't know if NAS did. Yeah, it would have. Could be that third drive here, though. We'll see. It's really past the time that I play these trades, so I'll probably sit them out. But what I'm looking for specifically, 15-minute has a little ways to go. But for me to, want to say that price is drawing up higher and wants to, maybe come in and fill in some of these imbalances, I need more. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to need the 15-minute, break of structure with displacement. Leave a fair value gap. That we're at the level, so we're at that decisional point. Too early for me to call it, but two scenarios: either the lower time frames start to shift bullish and we start to see relief. I would then look at this imbalance up here, and also once we form it, this one, but I'm not going to mark it yet. But up in this 4250 area. Now, there's a good chance that there's still orders up in this zone. And like I said, we did not touch that monthly level. So it's not out of the question to say we could have another run up. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But again, we're at that decisional point, and you know how what we want to do is we want to just develop as a day trader, we want to just develop our bias of what's today going to do. Um, we want to look for data that can support a narrative that allows us to actually execute. Me telling you, yeah, SPY's going to come here, it's going to reverse, it's going to go up above here, and then once it gets there, it's going to come down. That's not, for one, that's just trying to be that guy who does that. And for two, you're not going to benefit off that. You know what I mean? Like, unless you just buy something now and just hold it at the top, and then you're just a madman, right? But overall bias, we're at a decisional point. If we don't start to reverse here, I would look for these equal lows. PMI tomorrow is going to be interesting because it's really high impact news. So just be on the lookout for that when you guys are trading tomorrow. Um, that is at 9:45 a.m. tomorrow Eastern time, so 15 minutes after equity open. Um, let the news play out. See what liquidity is rated with the news. Um, so NOS, it's came down farther. And I think it's a little ahead of the game right now, it seems like, because it also cleared the equal highs much sooner than everything else did. It, it seems like it's kind of in its own lane. It's a little ahead of the game. So when we look at NOS, we've came down under this low right here, this set of lows. So I think there's some potential interest there. But again, it's the same as SPY. We want to make sure that we um, confirm that with bullish structure on the lower time frames, which we haven't really got yet. I'll delete some of this. I want to make sure I don't delete my position size thing, but well, ideally, what I'd like to see maybe is some consolidation to the lunch and then just a clear direction, whichever way that is. So again, NOS is very similar to SPY in the fact that I think we're decisional. We're under, oops, wrong tool. We're under this low right here. So potential reversal point. A lot of people are looking to short. I think it needs more time to kind of show us its hand. Also, we got PMI tomorrow, which is going to be massive. So indices, I think, need another day or two. But looking at the weekly candle, it wants down. I was posted some of this on Twitter last night. If we look at the weekly, it's very clear to me we're drawing into this imbalance. All right, and the weekly candle is already looking pretty rough. So high value zone for NOS would be this imbalance, but I could potentially see, under this low, if we start to reverse, I could see a push up maybe here or into that area before down. Overall, though, I do think we're starting to to see that the institutional involvement where price is now not just inducing liquidity, but it's actually moving in favor, so to speak, of uh, institutional positions. Somebody asked, Adeliki said, do I think USD JPY PA is attracted to the monthly swing high? You mean if you're talking about this, it's definitely an area of liquidity. That's your previous monthly high. So, it could be. I'll tell you right now, the weekly seems like it wants that. Daily looks fucking bullish as can be. Didn't hit that. That's odd. Came in the fair value gap. Pushed off. Got this order block right here. I like this zone right here, but overall, I mean, the daily, I don't see really much else you're drawing to except that high. I wouldn't say it's like because it's the monthly high, but you could watch this high, but I mean, this is where your liquidity is at. So I actually like the look of this chart because it's pretty clear, leaving a lot of inefficiencies in the way up, these last two candles, but overall, you look pretty good. See if there was a trade this morning on this. It's like London got the good trade on this. Boom, clear that low and off to the races. Anything super clear. So I'm on, yeah, the 15-minute. That's what I'm on currently. So if you see, we had this flip from supply to demand. Um, Also, I appreciate you, Joel. I appreciate you a lot, bro. But we see this transition, so to speak, that this supply was just input to the markets to come out and raid this liquidity. So we see it fail right here. So that tells me the bulls are in control. Um, so you got a decent entry off of that, and also that displacement right there pushed through that supply pretty hard. Um, it doesn't look too bad where we're at. What I'd like to see, to be honest, is a break above this 5 minute to go bullish. So if we can get a nice break above that, I'd actually consider taking a long. But this looks good overall. I know you said you longed it this morning. I think you said that somewhere earlier. Yeah, you're in a long. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I don't know what your entry is, but if you're up a decent amount, never hurts to take profits and figure start to break even. But you look pretty good. Yeah. Also, Joel answered this question for me. I'm on the same boat. He said, "What's your favorite session to trade? New York Open for indices and everything." Yeah, I just like New York. I mean, and also it's just like it goes with my my lifestyle because I am on New York time. Your entry is 136,996. Oh yeah, you're eating. Let me come down into a discount there. It's pretty bullish though, to be honest. It looks good. Um, Some other setups I'll go over pretty quickly. Oh wow, I haven't even looked at this today. Holy shit. Euro dollar is fucking dead. Well, I was gonna say target this low, but you guys can see that that already played out, or is playing out, I should say. Um, Potential relief longs under there. Again, don't force anything. Overall monthly target with euro dollar is 9907, based off of that same logic that we used on indices. So we have that last candle down here before the most recent pro trend order block. We find a candle that's high is lower than this candle's low, and we don't, or an opposing candle like a down close candle, and we don't have that until this candle. So for me, that's what price is really drawing to on the grand scheme of things. And we obviously on the weekly we have our draw on liquidity, and our daily. I mean, the sells were, obviously in control here. So once we get under this low, we have PMI tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Once we get under this, I would look at this imbalance around this area. I'm actually going to start marking out some of these because I don't even want to have too many levels on my chart. Overall, though, move down into this low. It's pretty clear at this point. So I asked about ETH. I haven't looked at her in a little bit. So the thing about ETH that, let's see, we took out these highs, all these equal highs right here. And came off them super rough, right? So that tells me that, you know, a larger force is at play as far as in the selling narrative. I know we have the ETH merger soon. Everybody's like wants to trade ETH off that, which I mean, who knows? It might, but I'm not one to really try to trade news like that. I like this candle right here for sells. The reason why is we came up and we reacted to this demand candle, pushed through it with displacement. So really, I'm liking this. What I'll do is I'll set an alert above this level right there, and that's the high that's front running this imbalance. Also, this supply candle right here. We have that flip supply where price came down to where we originally expanded pretty rough off of, and then failed. So we could look for a 15-minute change of character in that area. And overall, when we're looking at a weekly chart, the weekly looks pretty rough. Unless you see a nice turnaround, your weekly on Ethereum is looking like rough. Ethereum's got to be so volatile. Daily, though, I will say the daily you're in a potential zone. You see how you're reacting to this low right there. So you're taking off that you're taking that sell side liquidity seems to be being bought up. We have this order block here. We have that imbalance. So you could definitely see make the visibility on the days. You could definitely see some form of rebound here. This also kind of goes along with that Bitcoin narrative. Um, Overall, you could see if you see a new low made, and then displace and break a structure after it. That's where you could look to get involved in longs. But I would personally wait. I think you're just engineering that liquidity. Also, again, PMI tomorrow. No need to rush anything. So again, a little recap on everything we went over. Overall bias on gold. Good looks for some longs up into this area. Revisit price action once we get there. Bitcoin, probably get a relief move to the upside. Nothing's guaranteed, so we don't want to just enter. Specific what we're looking for is price to come down and take the lows, displacement break a structure on a 15-minute, and then use the lower time frames to frame an entry targeting equilibrium of this impulse move. ETH, same thing as Bitcoin as far as if you're looking to long. I'm not going to really monitor it that much, but I will monitor it above these highs for sells in that flip zone right there. So specifically would look for a 15-minute break of structure. Now, if we don't have any imbalances leading up to it, I would just target the lows. If we have imbalances, I'm out at the imbalances. But overall, came off that high really rough, came down, sought out the sell side, took it out. Now we're in an imbalance, so we look for a potential rebound. Indices, I think we still need some time. We're kind of just hanging out. Euro dollar took out the lows. This looks a little cleaner than that one we were talking about earlier because you finally came down and you see how you wicked it real nice and moved this. Well, ES looks better, in my opinion. But I think we could use a little more time here, and also we can use the data that we're going to get from price action after the economic numbers come out tomorrow. Oh, I almost forgot one. USD Cad. So USD Cad is super strong here. We came into these areas where I wanted to see a reaction, but we're not seeing that. So when I look at this, if I look at this daily candle, we are reacting a little bit off of equilibrium of this candle. If we get much farther above equilibrium here at this daily candle, I will look for this high. The reason being is the weekly chart. If you look at the weekly, price came down, came into this imbalance right there. We're pushing off of it. The weekly already is telling me it wants this high, to be honest with you. So it's kind of like, I could see that overpowering the daily because, looking at the daily, yes, we have the imbalance, yes, we have this order block, and we could see reactions to it. I'm going to delete these just because I don't want my chart to be cluttered. But, that high is kind of looming up there, and then on the weekly chart, it looks pretty clear. So we're at a decisional point. If we don't reverse here, with displacement, and if we, I don't really see the price moving pretty efficiently, right? We don't have many imbalances. Like you have something, here you could watch out for, but you don't really have a ton of areas where it's, yes, you have tiny imbalance like this, but where it's obvious where price would draw down to. So I would look for this down here if we start to reverse, and then if we look bullish there, I would almost start to frame ideas around this high. But I want to keep an eye on this because we have the volatile USD news, we got volatile euro and pound news. Pound's doing the same thing as euro dollar. So once we start to see this, it hasn't taken the low yet, but it's going to. Once we see this, if we can see, potential accumulation under that old low with the news tomorrow, that could frame some pretty nice ideas. Yeah. So again, pairs I'm going to be watching this week as far as forex goes. I mean, gold is going to be my metal, but really euro dollar, pound dollar, and USD CAD. We also we have a lot of volatile news this week, especially coming to the end. We have Powell speaking on Friday at 10 a.m. We got PCE. We have what's it called? The preliminary GDP on Thursday. It's going to be pretty volatile news week. I think we have high impact news every single day except Wednesday. Yeah, every single day except Wednesday, dollar has high impact news. And today. See if there's any questions. Okay, there's a couple. Can I look at EOS? Seems like the weekly is still pulling into this imbalance. You're in a premium of the imbalance. The daily chart above this old high. In this candle right here, let's see if there was something higher. Really nothing super clear on the 4-hour. And if anything, that's all I would really potentially see. Let's see if it's up in that area. I mean, it's, again, this is not super clean. It is above these highs. It seems like you could be drawing to that. Could be getting that third drive on a daily chart. I'd just be chilling on it personally, but I wouldn't be trading this. Just because it's for one, it's EOS. This doesn't really it. I don't know. I mean, I would if it starts to turn around and gives me a clear direction. But the weekly is telling me it's in this. Once this imbalance, you know, it's in the premium to fair value gap. So you're at that kind of fickle level where you're at a decisional point. The daily, yes, it's above an old high. Yes, it's coming up on that refined supply zone. So you could see something soon, but that's kind of what I would look for. Okay, my GU alerted went off. So all the sell sides removed pre-PMI tomorrow. Pretty textbook. We're seeing all this volatility coming up with news. A lot of institutions are rebalancing their books, moving money around to prepare and to take advantage of it. So don't rush anything. We'll see how this goes. Somebody asked Neo. Let's see. We came down to this daily order block here and took liquidity once already. So let me mark this up. I could see a little, I mean, I like this candle right here. And there's that little 4-hour imbalance too. Could see a little lower here on Neo. But it doesn't look bad. I'll be honest with you. You are reacting to this. I mean, I would look for this down here. I might be being too picky because it's reacting to that 1 hour, but that daily order block. Now, what would I look at as far as any kind of target? I like this level. It's the beginning of a 1 hour and a 4-hour fair value gap. So, wait, I don't want my text looking all ugly like that. So, we did come off this low pretty nice. Not really seeing any major signs of displacement, but again, I like that 4-hour candle down there. I'll actually set an alert for this just to kind of watch it. So overall, if you reverse here, I'd just be looking at somewhere in this impulse move to be scaling out. It's a decent little move there. It's like a 5% to 10% move. You've came down, you've got that first liquidation right there. Um, I could still see this. I mean, I like this over here. I like what this looks like, but I just don't like how it didn't come to that 4 hour order block. And it did come to it's probably gonna be this 1 hour fair value gap. See that right there, and then it filled that inefficiency. I still want lower though, but I would entertain longs off that 4 hour order block. EOS, we just went over EOS. Can I explain displacement more? Yeah, so displacement, think about it like this. If the market's consolidating, well, here's a great example. We're looking at one. So we have a range where the market is consolidating in, right? Nothing major. We're just kind of balancing around. Price is just, it's found a fair value. So large players, they're looking at this zone as somewhere where, price is balanced. Everybody agrees, so to speak, at this moment, based off the order book, that price is at a good level. It's fair market value. We have a very clear equilibrium until what? Until a large player comes in and displaces the market. So displacement is a way to visualize sponsorship of a move by a large investor or a large fund. So we want to trade when we're trading smart money, we want to trade with those investors, and we look to identify their involvement with these big moves. And also, we know that these fair value gaps oftentimes hold a lot of orders within them. So if we are looking to, play something coming out of here, we can anticipate that whenever they were spamming these orders to cause displacement, that maybe not all of them got filled. So now there's orders residing in this zone right here. So I hope that was a good explanation. On that note, I'm going to hop off here, guys. I appreciate everything as always. And don't rush anything. Again, we got a lot of volatile news tomorrow. I don't think there's going to be any shortage of opportunities this week. We took L on NQ this morning. No big deal. Whatever. Move on. Um, but yeah, until tomorrow, I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, DM me. You know how to get at me. Until tomorrow, I'll see you later. Peace.